Here's what's coming up on the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan.
If all of these things were true, Jim, this would truly be a beautiful pie chart portfolio. The problem is, what if most of those or none of those are actually true in your portfolio right now? It's no longer a beautiful pie chart portfolio.
I mean, their advisor may have told them that they're conservatively positioned, but until you do a true risk analysis and take every asset they have in their portfolio, how much money they have in each asset class, and go back and look at what they would have done in '08 under those circumstances, it's quite shocking to most people.
And a fiduciary will look after the best interest of the client, not the best interest of themselves or their firm, but by law they have to look after the best interest of their client and make sure every recommendation fulfills what that client wants and needs.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this week.
We got 30 minutes of great information just for you.
Don't go anywhere. The show starts right now.
Jim, I'm really excited about this week's segment of We Fix Your Money. It gives us a chance to be able to tell the viewers in detail how we actually design a comprehensive written retirement income plan. We talk about it all the time, but no one really knows what it is, and they haven't seen one because they've never gotten one from their current advisor. Talk about, in this case, a hypothetical case study of a guy named Jerry, and it kind of fits into the typical type of client we deal with on a daily basis because he has about $1 million of portfolio assets, $1.2 million. He's 60, he's a retired safety officer. He gets about 50% of his PERS pension income tax-free because he was hurt on the job. Really nice guy, let's assume in this case. $700,000 in one biotech stock, so way overweighted in one stock. He wants to use his assets, but he also wants a legacy plan for his beneficiaries. He has 50 grand in the bank. He's worried about not using his assets, and he'd really like to have more money to spend. He's afraid he's never going to use his money because he's worried about the market crashing and losing too much money, and he's also worried about that biotech stock crashing. He wants to significantly reduce the risk in his portfolio going forward. He's worried about money running out if he starts using his assets like everyone is. He has about a $10,000 monthly budget, and he wants to leave the max amount he can to beneficiaries after he's used his money for income. He has a broker. The broker has helped with picking stocks. Well, he ends up having one stock, $700,000 in a bio stock. Wants a simple plan, doesn't want to have to worry about the money now that he's 60, and he's never had a written plan. He wants one. He wants a plan that'll show what's going to happen to him and what's going to happen to his legacy. So the first step that we're going to work on for him is what?
A risk analysis, Dan. He's risk adverse. He's very over-concentrated with one stock. He has an advisor, but the advisor has not diversified him properly from our perspective. We conducted a risk analysis through a third-party company. It's their data, and they're able to analyze what this client would have done if he had this money positioned back in '08. In our example here, he would have lost about 57% of his money if the market crashes like it did in 2008 and 2009, which means he would lose almost half of his portfolio, over half of his portfolio, $706,000. He would have to have a 135% rate of return just to get back to even if that happened.
So he started with $1.2 million. He loses 57%. He's down now to about $500,000. His $500,000 net portfolio after losses would have to earn 135%. And that's just not going to be easy if in any way, shape, or form possible. And some people out there are sitting on this type of risk in their portfolios.
I mean, we see this very, very often. People come in, they think they have very low risk in their portfolio, and after we do a risk analysis and actually demonstrate for them the level of risk they have, they're astounded. They're frightened.
A 30%, 40%, 50% loss is nothing unusual when we do this type of risk analysis for people that are watching that are 60, 65, and 70. They literally have that much risk in their portfolios right now.
Yeah, I mean, their advisor may have told them that they're conservatively positioned, but until you do a true risk analysis and take every asset they have in their portfolio, how much money they have in each asset class, and go back and look at what they would have done in '08 under those circumstances, it's quite shocking to most people. Well, we remodeled their portfolio, we reconstructed how the assets were going to be laid out, and we reduced the risk from 57.6% down to approximately 8.8%. And rather than losing potentially $706,000 in a market crash, he would potentially lose a little over $100,000. And the recovery gain was only going to be about 9.6%, which was very, very important to him because he could accept the fact of having about a 10% risk factor based on previous data that we did this analysis on. And he knew if he had that level of risk factor, he felt comfortable with his plan at this level.
Moving forward. Then after we do a risk analysis, we have to build what is probably the most important analysis for him because he wanted to know how he's going to use these assets for as long as he lives. So we create a lifetime income plan. And in this case, we're going to summarize a lot of complicated data, but we're going to make it simple. We're going to put everything about his money on one page. We're going to show his assets and his income sources and then show how it's going to last for the next 30 years of his life. And that's important because you got to make it simple for people. We know people out there watching, they don't have something like this that shows what's going to happen for the next 30 years of their life with their assets and their income. So in this case, if you look at the first red oval, and it shows, and it's circling the year 2018. We're going to get him about $181,000 of gross income. That's $15,000 of gross income per month, which will equate to about $12,000 of net income. Huge. He can do everything he wants to do. Then if you go down further to the year 2023, the second red oval, we're going to increase his income to about $196,000, which helps him hopefully keep pace with inflation, maybe have a little bit more money to spend or save if he needs that money to save, because some people like to have that. Well, if you could see this on one page, you'd be in a great position. And he now is going to have some biotech stock, only $250,000 versus the $700,000. So we actually included him retaining some of that biotech stock, still reducing his risk. So if we can reduce his risk, give him income he needs, and ultimately provide a decent chunk of money that could potentially pass to his beneficiaries, in his case, over $1 million, what's going to happen?
No, he's very excited. He's very happy. He now understands his money much better. He knows the risk he has in his portfolio. He knows the potential he could lose. He knows what the recovery gain is. But more importantly, he knows where his income's going to come from. And that income is likely never going to run out.
So he finally feels comfortable and stops worrying about his money. If you're like him and you feel, just like Jerry, you need a plan and he felt that, just feel free. Give us a call at the office. Go to our website. We'll be glad to help you.
Yeah, and remember, at Peak Financial Freedom Group, we fix your money.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
Hi, I'm Dan Ahmed. My partner Jim Files and I are co-founders of Peak Financial Freedom Group. We are proud sponsors of this show. As investment advisor representatives of our own RIA, we are legally bound by a fiduciary duty to our advisory clients. Specifically, we owe our advisory clients an affirmative duty of utmost good faith, requiring us to provide full disclosure of all material facts and obligating us to employ reasonable care to avoid anything misleading. We design customized written retirement income plans for retirees and soon-to-be retirees. If you've saved a lot of money for retirement and don't want to lose it, don't want it to run out, and don't want to make a mistake with it, stay tuned. You're going to love the show. We want to help you protect your assets against large stock market losses, earn competitive returns without taking excessive risk, and create dependable monthly income that will last for as long as you live. Our goal is to help you stop worrying about your money so much by building you a customized written retirement income plan. We put everything in writing. And here's the best news. We will not charge you for your plan. You will never feel any obligation or pressure to work with us. It's always your choice. But if you do decide to become our client and you're looking for some growth without taking excessive risk, we get paid advisory fees on the money we invest for you. If on some of your funds you're looking for protection against stock market losses and need dependable lifetime income, and we use an annuity as part of your plan, we are paid commissions. That's why we don't have to charge you additional planning fees to create your customized, comprehensive written retirement income plan. Before you invest any money with us, we will tell you all the fees you will pay in writing. We believe in transparency. And after we build your plan, you won't worry about your money so much. Sit back and enjoy the show. Thanks for joining us.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retirement Roundtable. Guys, we have a really important topic today. At some point in your life, as you've accumulated all these dollars, you're going to need a different type of financial advisor to take you through retirement. And I'm not sure that people watching today understand that that's the time in your life for a specialist. So there are certain things that you need to do to ensure, Dan, that you have the right advisor. And I want you to tell me about something we spoke about at the break called the rodeo cowboy. What is that?
Sure, the rodeo cowboy type of advisor is someone who always tells you to ride it out. Go through the ups and downs, kind of like you're on a bucking bronco. Don't worry, you're not going to get thrown off. You're not going to break any bones. You're not going to break your neck. But in reality, if you're taking that type of advice from an advisor and riding everything out, riding every 40 or 50% market decline down, all you're doing is hurting yourself, because if you're in retirement and you go through a 40% or 50% decline, you're probably not going to recover if you're using your assets for income, meaning you're probably going to run out of money at some point in your life, and that's your one fear that you have to make sure you extinguish immediately.
So, Dan, it's probably fair to say that there are a few rodeo cowboys out there, and maybe we should think twice about working with them. And Jim, we were also talking earlier about the Picasso advisor, right? That artistic, beautiful pie chart, but maybe not the best thing for you. Explain.
Well, most clients do get that beautiful pie chart once a quarter, and it looks really, really pretty. It looks like you don't have much risk. It looks like you're going to be fine for the rest of your life, but it really doesn't tell you anything at all other than a bunch of colors. It's meaningless, quite frankly, but it looks good, right? It makes me feel good because those colors kind of emanate within me. But in order to get through life successfully, you have to put together a comprehensive plan that you understand. Develop a portfolio that's going to do exactly what you want your money to do for you. Do you want income? Do you want increasing income? Do you want to lessen your risk? Do you want to take care of your children in the future? Those things are super important in retirement, and you have to build a plan, not just give a beautiful pie chart to somebody once a quarter.
You know, and the other one we talk about too is that sort of one-legged stool advisor. And I want to take a moment here to bring up an important word that I know some of our folks listening and watching today understand, but maybe most don't, and that's fiduciary, and the importance of bringing a fiduciary into your life when retirement is either upon you or you're already in it.
Sure. The first part of that question dealt with the one-legged stool advisor, someone who only deals with one asset. Maybe they only deal with the stock market, and they say that's the best thing you should ever do, and you should have all your money there. Or you deal with a banker, and they say keep all your money in the bank. Or you deal with an annuity salesperson, all they do is say put all your money in annuity. Well, none of those answers are correct, because you have to look at what the consumer, what the client needs, and then you put a plan together that could and should include all those types of assets. And a fiduciary will look after the best interest of the client, not the best interest of themselves or their firm, but by law they have to look after the best interest of their client to make sure every recommendation fulfills what that client wants and needs.
So when you say, one of the ones that we talked about was the I am your best friend, Dan, just to piggyback on that, what do you mean by that?
Well, we find that most consumers, especially if they've worked with their advisor for a long time, first and foremost, they don't look at their advisor as their advisor. They really look at their advisor as their friend, and they have this personal relationship. And the advisor wants it that way. But you cannot look at your advisor as your friend first. You have to look at your advisor, number one, as your advisor. They are helping you position and manage your assets to make sure you have the least amount of risk and that your money is going to last for as long as you live. It's great to like your advisor. We want our clients to like us, but you cannot blindly trust your advisor. For example, if you had a friend right now that's your advisor and they don't give you everything in writing about your money, the risk, the fees, the income you're going to get, the advantages, the disadvantages, they are not your friend.
So I have another advisor buddy of mine that says, if they're not in your will, okay, meaning of course they're not a family or friend, think twice about it. Dan, Jim, thanks so much. This is a really important topic for those of you looking for a new advisor, either for the first time, second time, or looking for an alternative opinion. Hey, give us a call in the office right now or go to our website. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
Do you have an actual plan, or do you just receive statements from where your money is invested? Too few retirees and pre-retirees don't have a plan and are not prepared for retirement. A great way to get a clear, written retirement plan is to meet with a full-service retirement planning firm, not just someone who invests your money. If a clear, written retirement plan is something you want, be one of the first 5 callers right now, and you'll receive our Peak Retirement Navigator review. Here's what you'll receive from your Peak Retirement Navigator. Number 1, a fee audit exposing your direct and hidden fees inside your portfolio. Number 2, a risk report showing you how much you could lose in a market decline. Number 3, a risk analysis to protect your investment from large stock market losses. And number 4, an income plan showing you how much income you will need in retirement. So don't wait. Call the phone number on the screen right now for your no-cost, no-obligation Peak Retirement Navigator review, which includes your Retirement Survival Toolkit. You have nothing to lose, there is no pressure, there is no risk, and it's free. And remember, at Peak Financial Freedom Group, we fix your money.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
Welcome to this week's segment of Peak University. Today we're going to talk about, do you own a beautiful pie chart portfolio? And Jim, we talked about this subject in detail in the latest book we just wrote. It's a bestseller with Jack Canfield. He's the guy who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, who sold over 500 million copies. Our new book is titled Mama's Secret Recipe for Retirement Success. It's something that will help a lot of retirees to make good decisions about their money. And we talk about this beautiful pie chart because right now, each quarter or each month, depending on how frequently the people out there watching get their statements, they get a statement, and what does it have on it?
A beautiful pie chart, right? It's a colorful chart that looks very similar like this. And what you immediately think is, number one, you're impressed because it's in color, it makes you feel good. Number two, you think you're diversified because all the different pieces of pie represent a different asset type.
Well, when we ask a client, when they come in with 40 different mutual funds, we ask them, why in the heck do you have 40 different mutual funds? What do they say?
They think they have less risk, right? Or they don't think they have any risk in some cases,
because
which is terrible.
I've been told it's diversified.
Exactly. And mutual funds are safer than stocks. At least that's what they've been sold, right? Dan, is that true? Are they safer than stocks?
Well, some mutual funds could be considered with less risk than stocks, but if you have a stock mutual fund, it means the mutual fund owns stocks, which means it's not safer than stocks because stocks are the mutual fund. So we saw in the 2008 financial crisis between probably March 08 to February 09, specific mutual funds that lost 50, 55, 60, 65, even 70 and 75%. So does that mean mutual funds are safer than stocks?
No, it's not. It's just a basket of stocks. Matter of fact, with every client or every new client, the first thing we do is take all your mutual funds, all of your stock positions, and we do a risk analysis. We want to determine how those mutual funds have reacted in the last downturn and how do they behave in bad markets so we can determine how much risk you really have with that mutual fund that you own.
So if we did one of those mutual fund audits, a mutual fund risk audit, and let's say it's a client that thinks they were fairly conservative and they had 70% stock mutual funds, 30% bond mutual funds, and their advisor said, don't worry, everything's safe. If we did one of those analysis and we look back to 2008, during the financial crisis when the market fell 53%, what would be a range of potential loss in that type of portfolio of 70% stock mutual funds, 30% bond mutual funds?
Well, it depends what they have on the mutual fund stock side, but typically we see a diversification on the stock side, which includes small cap, mid cap, large cap, and international positions. Those take more risk, or at least some of those positions take more risk than just a large cap stock. So just because you have 30% in bonds and you think you're safe, maybe on a portion of your portfolio you have less risk, but on that portion of portfolio where you have more risk in asset classes that behave more aggressively, you could have still as much risk as the stock market itself.
So if we had a portfolio of 70% mutual funds, 30% bond mutual funds, then it would be conceivable that when we do this type of analysis that someone could have 35, even 40% risk, meaning during the next downturn, if it acts like 2008, they should expect to lose 35 to 40%?
That's right. I mean, we see portfolios every single day. People come in seeking a second opinion. We'll do a risk analysis, and they may have a 50% portfolio with stocks or mutual fund stocks and 50% in bonds. They too still have 20, 30, sometimes 35% risk factor when they thought they were very conservatively positioned.
Well, when you come in thinking you might have a 5% risk factor, which a lot of you do right now, maybe if you're aggressive 10%, and then you find out you have 30 or 40% risk, which most people watching this do if they have this type of portfolio, it makes them completely freak out with worry, fear, their anxiety level goes up. But it's better to know now, because then you can fix it. You don't want to go through a market crash and find out later. When you look at then the things you've been promised with your beautiful pie chart portfolio, things such as you'll get a good return, it's going to provide you a high level of income that's going to last for as long as you live, you're probably only paying 1% in fees. Well, if all of these things were true, Jim, this would truly be a beautiful pie chart portfolio. The problem is, what if most of those or none of those are actually true in your portfolio right now? It's no longer a beautiful pie chart portfolio.
That's right. Now let's take number 5. You'll earn a good rate of return. Well, in the last 9 or 10 years, we've been on an 11-year bull market run. You probably have done well in your stock market investment, but you have to go back. You just can't count the good years. You have to go back to, say, 2000 all the way through today. Your rate of return is significantly less than you think it is because you have to count the years in which you lost money if you're in the market.
We think about 2018. Remember the recent article by Boulevard?
Yeah.
Boulevard came out and said that mutual funds were probably a lot worse than you thought in 2018 because the average equity mutual fund investor lost over 9%, and yet the stock market only lost a little bit over 4%.
Right.
So how in the heck can a mutual fund investor lose 9%, but the stock market only lose 4%?
Well, because they're taking more risk in those mutual funds and they don't know they're taking more risk, right? And the only way that you know how much risk you're taking is you have to have a stress test taken done and completed on your portfolio. You have to understand from an academic perspective how much you can lose in the next stock market crash. If you don't understand that information, you're blindly leading your own self to retirement. You have to have this data at hand.
Exactly. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at the office or visit our website.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
Are you worried about taking too much risk, paying high fees, creating dependable monthly income, your money running out? You can stop worrying about your money by meeting with a full-service retirement planning firm, not just someone who invests your money. Call right now to receive your free, no-obligation Peak Retirement Navigator review that includes a total fee audit, a risk stress test showing your potential losses, a retirement income analysis showing how long your money will last, and the steps to create a customized written retirement income plan. Our clients typically have between $1 million to $20 million of assets, but if you've saved at least $500,000 for retirement, we will meet with you free of charge to see if we can possibly help. You'll get free educational copies of Mama's Secret Recipe for Retirement Success we co-wrote with Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup for the Soul, and our beautiful, inspiring 100 Shades of Financial Freedom. So don't wait. Call the phone number on your screen right now. You have nothing to lose, there's no pressure, there's no risk, and it's free. And remember, at Peak Financial Freedom Group, we fix your money.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
I got in business many years ago, so a lot of people might think I look a little younger than I am, but I've been in this business for 37 years. So I got in this business when I was 18, just turning 19, and it was by luck, complete luck. You know how some things happen in life and you're just so happy that they did? Well, this is one of the things. I had a friend that talked me into going and working in a tax preparation office 37 years ago just to get it on my resume, because back then I wanted to be a tax attorney. I thought I'd go through accounting, go to law school, and I'd be a tax attorney. Well, I go and I start helping this gentleman with his tax preparations, and I found out, oh my gosh, I actually like helping people, and I got immediate job satisfaction because I was good at helping them reduce their taxes. And these were 55-year-olds that were just grateful that I provided them this help. And you don't get that opportunity, really, to get that type of job satisfaction at that young of an age. It just doesn't happen. So I really found out I liked that. Then a year later, my friend who got me that type of job internship, she said, hey, why don't you come and work for a financial planning company? I thought, I don't want to be a financial planner. Those people, they don't do things that are right for clients. They steal their money. That's what I thought back there as a little young punk. And she told me, she said, no, this is a really good company. Come and just meet with them. It was two ladies that had started a financial planning company like 10 years before that. So it was never heard of that two women started a financial planning company way back when, 45 years ago. Well, I talked to them and they talked me into then trying to become a planner with them while I was still going to head to law school because it would look good on my resume. Well, I found out later, they never planned for me to go to law school. They wanted me to work with them and never stop, because within 1 year, I became their #1 advisor because I found I really like to help people. And then within 3 years, I became a partner in their firm, which became the largest company in California that dealt with school employees and nonprofit employees in helping them plan for retirement. So I just got lucky to be able to find something that I loved and that I ended up being good at the same time, just literally lucky. Every morning when I wake up and my feet hit the ground, as you always like to say, I always think about who we're going to be able to help that day. And that's the key, because we know we possess the experience and we possess the opportunity for people to literally change their lives. And when you can do that, you better be doing that to help other people, because it really is your responsibility to the humankind, to everyone that you can help get into a better position. And we know people are worried about their money, they don't understand their money. If as a firm, as an individual, we can explain complicated things and break them down and really help them understand it, imagine how much worry is wiped away from their life. Now they get to concentrate on how they're going to live a very happy retirement, how they're going to help their family, how they're going to help their charities. And it's just wonderful to be able to have that opportunity to help people. When people say that all the time, oh yeah, I like to help people, we literally change people's lives. And when you can say that, that's just awesome, because it gives you the biggest feeling, the biggest, most hot feeling in your heart that you've been able to do those types of things. Before I joined on about 37 years ago, I couldn't even imagine being in this industry. Now, I can't imagine have done anything else in my lifetime, because this is what I was meant to do. I wasn't meant to do anything else. I'm really focused on how do we find every single way to help people achieve their levels of financial success, which we termed in our firm financial freedom. Everyone has their own definition of financial success. We call it financial freedom. Could be that they don't want to worry about their money any longer. Could be they want to help their kids or their grandkids. Could be they want to help their charities. Could be that they just want to have enough money to pay for that one big trip a year. So our goal is to help create financial freedom for each of these people or couples we get to work with.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
Do you have an actual plan, or do you just receive statements from where your money is invested? Too few retirees and pre-retirees don't have a plan and are not prepared for retirement. A great way to get a clear, written retirement plan is to meet with a full-service retirement planning firm, not just someone who invests your money. If a clear, written retirement plan is something you want, be one of the first 5 callers right now and you'll receive our Peak Retirement Navigator review. Here's what you'll receive from your Peak Retirement Navigator. Number 1, a fee audit exposing your direct and hidden fees inside your portfolio. Number 2, a risk report showing you how much you could lose in a market decline. Number 3, a risk analysis to protect your investments from large stock market losses. And number 4, an income plan showing you how much income you will need in retirement. So don't wait. Call the phone number on the screen right now for your no-cost, no-obligation Peak Retirement Navigator review, which includes your Retirement Survival Toolkit. You have nothing to lose, there is no pressure, there is no risk, and it's free. And remember, at Peak Financial Freedom Group, we fix your money.
Hi, I'm Dan Ahmed, President and co-founder of Peak Financial. We are a full-service retirement planning firm, not just someone who invests your money. We build customized, written retirement income plans. Have you been able to get good information on how to plan for a safe and secure retirement? Probably not. Well, we wrote the book to change all that. It's titled Mama's Secret Recipe for Retirement Success, and we co-wrote it with Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. We're biased, but we think it's the best book currently available on how to plan for a safe and secure retirement, teaching you the truth about risk, the stock market, fees, creating dependable lifetime income, annuities, and a full written retirement income plan. Our clients typically have between $1 million to $20 million of assets, but if you've saved at least $500,000 for retirement, our book can help you. So don't wait, call the phone number on the screen right now. We'll give you all the secrets and it's free.
You're watching the Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan, Sacramento's retirement television.
Hey guys, great show this week. Thanks so much for tuning in.
If you have any questions or need any help at all, feel free, give us a call at our office or go to our website.
And remember, at Peak Financial Freedom Group, we fix your money.
The preceding program is sponsored by Peak Financial Freedom Group.